Welcome back to another action figure obsession video. It's me, your old pal Avian and Loaded, and this probably will be a short one because it's almost lunchtime, and it's almost lunchtime. Did I mention that? As I'm recording this, anyway. So I had a comment on one of my most recent videos where they said they liked the look of my various Bucky's. So I wanted to show you all of my winter soldiers here. And then also, that guy fell over, but he was right in my way anyway. That's on him. Um, I lined these up sort of in chronological order. It really doesn't make a difference. But the two on either end, on the far left and the far right there, are on the left, the original 2014, I want to say, MCU Winter Soldier. On the far right is the re-release of that figure with some different paint deco. And that is the Falcon and the Winter Soldier MCU flashback Winter Soldier, I believe they called it. And they both have a red star because at this time in the history of the Winter Soldier in the movies, he was still being frozen and thawed out occasionally by the Soviet Union to perform missions like killing Tony Stark's mother, for example, and then being put back in the freezer. And they had that whole thing with that code book, which was how they controlled him. You know, I had that code book at one point. I think it came with one of these figures, and I'll be damned. I think I got rid of that. I think I traded it away. I had a couple more of these, the older 2014 body Bucky caps. And I just felt like I had too many of them, and I should have kept that book. Should have kept that book. And the only difference between that and the high school yearbook that came with the retro Gwen Stacy from 2020 is instead of saying Midtown High School on the cover, it has just a red star. And boy, you know, sometimes when you have an action figure obsession, you can't see the forest for the trees. Or maybe I couldn't see the trees for the forest. In any case, my priorities were all screwed up, and I did not keep the Winter Soldier code book. So in the previous video where we talked a little bit about Bucky and Bucky Barnes and James Buchanan Barnes, I talked about arming these guys back up a little, the 2014 body Winter Soldiers. So I gave them both the the phony baloney laser rifle that has come with some Deadpools and some other characters. I think it might have come with Forge or somebody. And then for the pistol, one of the black Marvel Legends 1911 Desert Eagles that has come with the hood and with the retro Deadpool, among many other figures, including these guys. There's one right there, right in the center of the screen. They're usually fairly gummy, but anytime there's a figure on clearance that has one or more of these 1911 Desert Eagles, I'll grab it because I think that's a very good weapon for the Marvel Legends scale. So the other Winter Soldier on that same body, sporting the half-mast head instead of the fully mast head. I did notice he has some paint on his, I don't know if that's supposed to be a throwing knife or a wrench or what it is. I think it's probably a wrench from the looks of things. Maybe to fix his robot arm when it breaks down. I don't know. What do I know? I'm just a big stupid. But yeah, I think I got him for his weapons. Actually, he came with that the rifle and the pistol that came with the also in the Shield 3-pack with Nick Fury and Dum Dum Dugan. But anyway, yeah, so I just feel like these janky old skinny old bodies for the MCU Winter Soldier, I figure they look a little bit better with some armaments, some ordnance. And then here we have my two Crimson Dynamo Wave comic book Winter Soldiers. And I want to say that was like what? Oh boy, was it the year the Black Widow movie came out? So that was supposed to come out. Was that 2020? He doesn't feel like a 2020 figure to me. He feels like feels a little older than that, but I don't know. He basically has the body of the Netflix Punisher, or at least some of the body of the Netflix Punisher, and the MCU Tactical Killmonger figure. Yeah, I'm looking around. It's the same legs as well. as the captain body here on Star Dash Man. Um, but a new torso because, and this is the stock one that looks like the one that came out of the box. It's not customized, and the other one is, and I'll explain that. But this guy is basically the out-of-the-box Crimson Dynamo Build-A-Figure Wave comic Winter Soldier. He has a gunmetal gray 1911 Desert Eagle there. I'm guessing it's super gummy. Well, not super gummy, but it's flexible, we'll call it that. And then he has that god-awful, and that is super gummy, that god-awful AR that they've given to Deadpool a few times and to many other characters. I think Killmonger might have come with one too, if I recall correctly. The cool new thing about this is the shirt, the torso, has that collared shirt style to recall the World War II adventures of Bucky the Boy Wonder when he was Captain America's boy partner. And that's cool because there's really nothing else about this that says, hey, this is the same Bucky that fought with Captain America in World War II. But that shirt collar and the sort of stripes, and they have some paint on the stripes on his chest. This figure's pretty good, actually. The biggest drawback to it, to me, at the time that I got it, was the robot arm / cybernetic arm being swirly twirly silver plastic. Other than that, though, get on your feet, soldier. Come on. This is the stock, magazine pouches that he came with, and I guess those are for, for this fake magazine that doesn't come out of this shitty AR rifle. I have seen people say that they like the Hasbro Winter Soldiers, the comic Winter Soldiers that came in the 2-packs in like 2010 or way back then somewhere. I think they're out of their frickin' minds. I think the articulation on those is terrible. I mean, I guess I can kind of see it in the head sculpts, but also those heads are too small for those figures. This is my, if I can only grab one Winter Soldier on the way out of my house, either this one or my kit bashed and customized one would be the one. I just think that the tolerance on his feet needs some kikis. I just think this guy looks good. He says to me, Ed Brubaker and Steve Epting, Captain America run featuring the Winter Soldier and Natasha Romanoff, the Black Widow. I think it's a pretty close to perfect evocation of that storyline, of that era in Captain America history. And so, yeah, this is, for me, this is a great figure. I've seen a lot of people say they don't like it. A lot of people say they need another one. He has the same sort of utility belt as Killmonger and some of the other. Yeah, I think one of the Netflix Punishers, maybe the 80 Years one, also came with that same utility belt sort of thing with the grenades hanging off in the front. And they are, by the way, painted on this one, as is the belt buckle, and then none of the crap on the back at all is painted. They could have painted the tops of those magazines. They could have painted that fake knife that I hate that's so thin and always gets bent up. But, and of course he has the fake molded in gun in his gun holster that is absolutely useless. I despise that belt. I really hate that it even exists. And I think that they could have done so much better. But, Hasbro always chooses. I'm sorry for the terrible production values here today, my friends. Hasbro always chooses to not do better whenever it's an option. If they have an option that says do better, check here, don't do better, check here, they always check don't do better. So this is my custom kit bash of that same figure. And the first thing you'll notice is that his arm no longer looks like the swirly twirly silver plastic. That's because this is one of my most successful paint experiments ever. I took an acrylic brush pen and I slathered black all over it except on that star, which is the more American star, to show that he's not working for the Soviet Union anymore. I've heard people refer to it as representing Captain America, and I really, maybe, but I don't think so. I think it's just representing that he's no longer fighting for the Soviet Union. That's my take on that. But if you look really closely, you look at how the black, it was India ink, the pen, not acrylic paint, how the India ink sort of soaked into those nooks and crannies and really bring that arm to life. in a way that the swirly twirly one with its kind of dead, plain, featureless plastic just doesn't have. Looking at it now, maybe I should do that on that one too, because it's just not good. It's just really, that swirly twirly plastic just sucks. And this has held up. I did this black wash job on the arm, even on the back. Look how much Avian and Loaded cared about this job. Certainly more than Hasbro would have. Um, even there. Look at that. Look at that. Look how much I care. Yeah. Oh my God, that is beautiful. Those black lines are all me, baby, and all my hard work. And he almost can get into a firing position, where he's actually looking down the sight here. Depending upon how you angle the camera. The weapon that he's sporting is not the stock weapon that came with him, like the other one has those stock shitty Hasbro weapons. This is the AK from that Matt Damon movie. I'm trying to remember what it was called. It was a modified AK, that science fiction movie. Eternia, Ethereum, something like that. Tell me in the comments. But it was that Matt Damon science fiction movie anyway. And it's a beautiful piece. Look at this. This came in the the Valaverse Action Force Weapons Pack Lima, which was nothing but AKs and shotguns, and this was one of them. And I believe they've included it with other figures, but it doesn't. When you get it with a figure, it does not come with this beautiful paint job. The gunmetal gray on the metal parts, and I just love this rifle. I mean, I get really excited about guns as long as they're only in the hands of 1/12 scale 6-inch plastic men or women, and for that matter. And this is one of the better ones. It's got the dual magazines that are taped together. Can you see that? Let's see if I can. It's supposed to be so that when you run out of ammo, you just flip that thing over, and you're all set again. And it's a beautiful piece. Just a beautiful piece. Trying to see. I'm wondering if I might have skipped the black wash on his fingers. But that might have been because I didn't want to screw up the paint on his gloves. But anyway, yeah. So these are my two Winter Soldiers from the Crimson Dynamo Build-A-Figure wave. The stock one on the right, and then my customized and kit bash one on the left. Oh yeah, and I forgot to also mention he does have a hand cannon and drop-down thigh holster from Valaverse Action Force. And what was the other? Oh, the ammo bags here, the web gear. That is also Valaverse Action Force, and at least the weapon is designed probably by Mark II Designs. They do a lot of, if not most of, Valaverse Action Force's weaponry. So if you're looking for some good weapons that are cheap, usually even the nicest rifles, on average, if you buy into those weapons packs that they do, at the time that they're either up for pre-order or the time when they're available on Valaverse.com, you can usually get those things for $1 or $2. I mean, you've got to buy the whole weapons pack, which is, oh my God, $12, I think, $13, something like that. But you get like 10 super nice pieces, and I have never, ever had a problem with Valaverse's fulfilling my orders correctly and quickly. This is not a sponsorship or a paid message for them, but I have probably ordered from them more than any other online action figure manufacturer, as far as directly ordering from the manufacturer or the company. And Valaverse's service is second to none. They've always done right by me. So if you have any curiosity at all, or you want to make, your Winter Soldier or one of your G.I. Joe classified figures or Nick Fury or somebody looks super cool, look into their weapons packs. You might have to go back to eBay and pay a little miss the boat premium for some of them. I don't know that the weapons pack Lima is still in stock, but that had a Krinkov rifle, which is like a short AK that almost looks like an Uzi. And I believe it had two of these, or maybe one of these and one without the modified stuff on the front of it that was from that movie. God, what was that movie called? Matt Damon science fiction movie. Just look it up, Matt Damon science fiction movie AK, because there's lots of pictures online of that AK, and I'm sure that's where they got their their reference for making that one. So you're saying to yourself, wow, so he showed us all his Bucky's. He came right over and showed us his Bucky's. And no, there's a couple more here, as you know, but these are not the Winter Soldier. These are my Bucky caps on the Vulcan body mold. And yes, I did used to have the Bucky cap, the original Bucky cap from about 10, 12 years ago, whenever that guy came out. I did used to have that. But, when this guy came, it was a rare case of when there was a figure upgrade, and I do kind of regret it a little now. I mean, would it be me if I wasn't filled with regret and plagued with doubt? But for the most part, I am pretty happy with this Vulcan body mold upgrade of the Bucky cap. And of the two that you see here in the center of your screen, the one on the left is the stock figure, including the shield and the pistol in his hand, and then there's another pistol in his holster that is from the Shield 3-pack, the Nick Fury, Dum Dum Dugan, and Sharon Carter 3-pack, because I just hate to see an empty holster, and I feel like Bucky would come strapped with as many weapons as he can. And then on the right, we have the unmasked Bucky using the unmasked head from the MCU Falcon and the Winter Soldier miniseries, and that is the head from the flashback Winter Soldier figure, which is that one there in the center of the screen. So that's where that head came from. And I think that looks pretty good for a comic book Bucky Barnes modern Winter Soldier unmasked head. And of course, he has the shield with the rippling energy effects from the 20 years Marvel Legends Captain America. So that's going on. What's going on with that guy? If you ever had any questions about anything you see that I've kit bashed or customized, and you want to know how I did it, I'm happy to share the recipe with you if I can remember it. Just let me know anytime, and I am happy to do that. And speaking of things that I'm happy to do for you, in a comment on one of my most recent videos, someone asked me how the wolf cap head looks on the 20 years of Marvel Legends. Yes, 20 years of Marvel Legends Captain America. So I plopped that head on here. I didn't pop it on all the way. With a little heat, it would have gone all the way. So if you think it's a little too high, I think it will fit right, but you're just going to have to heat it up first. And you be the judge. I think that the paint on the torn mask on the wolf cap head is a little more headed towards a shade of French blue, whereas the body itself is kind of I don't know, cobalt blue or true blue. I don't know. I love you, Madonna song. I guess you could make it work with the right lighting if you want to do action figure photography. I have tried this on multiple Captain Americas, and unfortunately, the only one that it really goes with is indeed the one and the only 2016 Red Onslaught Wave Captain America. But I did want to honor that request to see what the wolf cap head would look like on the 20 years Captain America, and the answer is okay, but not great. Certainly not perfect. Maybe the cell shading on the scale mail might help to sell it a little bit too. And again, with the right lighting, you could probably pull it off. But it again, it is not perfect, not ideal, and that's what it looks like. That is what it looks like. All right. So promises made, promises kept. If you need anything, ask me in the comments, and if I can show you, I absolutely will. Thank you for watching this Bucky Barnes mostly oriented action figure obsession video. I appreciate you spending some of your time with me today. And if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, feel free to give it a thumbs down. Leave a comment, any questions or comments. What Bucky Barnes do you like best, and what one do you have in your collection, or what ones do you have in your collection? Do you have any of those 2-pack Winter Soldiers? You're still hanging on to those? Am I missing out by not having them? You tell me. I think they have ball-jointed hips, which is basically a deal killer for me. Other than that 2012 Commander Rogers, but I'm willing to listen to your argument if you have one to make. Feel free to subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell so you're updated the next time I do a video, and hopefully it'll be something as fascinating as this 20 minutes that we spent looking at all my Bucky Barnes, Winter Soldier, and Bucky Cap figures, because that's what we just did, and it was awesome. And there you go. This video brought to you, by the way, by my new compilation album, Blazing World. You'll find it in the playlist section of this channel. It is over 20 songs that I wrote, human written lyrics written in collaboration with my best girl, Blaze. They are mostly trip hop and dreamcore. Some of the songs go pretty deep. Set aside some time to really give it a listen and think about what you're hearing. If you're willing to flip over there to the playlist section and check out the new playlist, you'll find it on the home page in the essential album section, or also it should be right at the top of the playlist on the playlist tab. That's Blazing World, the best of Avian and Loaded, featuring Blaze. I think some of my best work has been done in collaboration with Blaze in terms of my songwriting and the quality of the songs and the production. So, if you want to listen to some music, it's a pretty good time. And I think it's good music to chill out to. There's a couple of songs that go a little dark or get a little weird, but most of it is kind of chilled out trip hop that you can kind of just relax to and enjoy a beverage or the substance of your choice. Blazing World, the best of Avian and Loaded, featuring Blaze. I try not to bother you with this stuff too much because I suspect that there's not a lot of overlap between my action figure viewers and my viewers that come for my music. But in this case, I'm going to make an exception because it is a new album. It's a new compilation playlist. It's well over an hour long, and I think there's a lot of good songs on it. So check it out. Blazing World, the best of Avian and Loaded, featuring Blaze. It is at the top of my homepage right now and also at the top of the playlist tab. So you shouldn't have too hard of a time finding it. Thanks again for stopping by this edition of Action Figure Obsession. And remember, be like Cap. Do it for the dream.